Hi guys, so we're back with another video today, and as you can see from the video it was made today, and just to confirm, today is the 27th of May. So again, I recorded myself making the video. Again, I entered in New York session in the morning, and most of this video, so what happened was the video cut out as soon as I had entered into the market, but once I've entered I'll switch to trading view just to show you where I go out and where I collapse the trade as well. So if we continue forward, I'm just looking at the market. I've got lows here which have been broken. You'll see me take those lows off. I'm putting in the 5-minute fair value gap just to see, because obviously we had that big push down, but I'm assuming this is going to now reverse, and I'm just putting that fair value gap because I'm thinking I might see some sort of reaction there. So if I continue forward, that is now 7 o'clock New York. And you can see I've put another line there just to show that that is the new low. It's relatively close to this one. And you'll see, so back here, I'm just jumping onto the weekly chart just to see how we're looking in terms of this week and what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking that it wants to push up because we've had this fair value gap bounce here. So we might be pushing up further. So today I was bullish on GBPJPY. If I continue to go forward, so I've got a 5-minute fair value gap. I've got this line denoting that this is the USD, and there's high news here. So I'm just putting a note there just so that I'm aware of what's going on. One thing that I did miss is, I'll go back to around about here before I can actually show you. So you'll see me going and get a fib and calculate 50% of the move. So there it's there. So I took that low to that high, and that was the 50% line. And what I decided to do was I have drawn a horizontal line right over that 50%. So that would allow me to see where premium is and where discount is for that move. I might be wrong doing that there, but that's what I thought I needed to do in order to see where the market was. And as you can see, we are in discount right now. So moving forward, I'll run across this. So you can see that that has now broken this 15-minute low. There was all this box again. I've drawn that here is because there was medium news here, and I thought that might impact this pair. So I was just being cautious, and I didn't want to take a trade unless I seen a trade there. So as the market moved up, you'll see I've drawn the fair value gap. There's the break of structure that I believe is there on the 3-minute. So I've drawn that fair value gap, and there's a fair value gap here because again that's another break of structure there at the bottom. And I'm thinking, so this the fair value gap has been filled, another fair value gap there has been touched there. So I'm thinking this has now had a market shift in terms of it's wanting to go bullish. So I decided to put in the buy limit right at the top. Now as you can see on the 5-minute, that was the break of structure there. So therefore that was the fair value gap rather than the small 3-minute fair value gap that I drawn. It was there. So market continues to push up, and because I felt uncomfortable in the sense that I didn't think this would get hit, I decided to enter the market as a market order. And you can see I've drawn the fair value gap on the 3 minute and the 5 minute, and I've just changed the colour just to see whether or not if we would get that pushed down. So the reason why I put this trade on was it was below the 50%. It broke sell side, which is here. You've got the fair value gap right here, and I believe that this is an order block, which ICT mentions. So that's the reason why I think, or that's the reasons why I decided to put in a buy limit on here. So as the market pushed down, it showed me that it possibly maybe didn't want to come down here, and you'll see that I enter just as this video is about to end. You will see that I enter into the market as a market order, and just right there you'll see me going over here because that's a high that's been broken, and there is the fair value gap, and in there is exactly the entry. So that's the reason why I decided to buy at the market price. So I'm trying to wait. First of all, I'm changing the amounts, but I'm waiting for the candle to come down a little bit lower just so that I can get a better price. Because like I mentioned on TradingView, that is where it sells when you hit the button, and that is where you buy when you hit the button. You don't buy or sell at the actual price. So as the market comes down, just went too fast there, as this comes down I decide to hit buy, which is why you'll see it populate right there. So right there, it's put me in the buy position, and that's when the video closes. Obviously I left this limit in just in case it come down and tag me in. Stop loss was here, as I didn't think it would get there. And if we jump on to TradingView, this is what we had seen. So I've still got the colours here. You can see obviously the limit I had deleted because it never actually hit the limit. That was the buy order that you seen me put in at the market. That's my notes right there. There's a 50% line, which I believe, which is 50% of the day. I'll take that off now since today's finished. And my targets were here. So just so I can show you what I've seen. First target was here, and I had taken it on this candle, and on the same candle I had taken targets here, and that's where I closed the trade. So if I go down into the 1 minute, just to show you where I had entered and exited into the trade. It was a relatively short trade in terms of time. So I had a buy here, took off half here, and then took the rest off here. And that was my trade. So if I go here, it's 1, 2, 4. If I go here, it's 2, 8, 4. So from here, I think it was about here, about 23 pips. And this one I'd finished around about here, which is around about 30 pips. So yeah, we got 30 pips out of the market today. I wasn't a fan of holding it because it's Friday, and as you can see, the market decided to come down, fell in this fair value gap, bounced here once, twice, and it was just plain up until noon. Now obviously noon and 1 o'clock we don't take any trades, and I didn't plan to trade New York afternoon session or the New York PM session, but as you can see we still had this fair value gap coming in here. Market decided to go up, fair value gap here, entry could have been here at 2 o'clock, and we could have ridden to the highs of this candle. So if I had taken that trade, just out of curiosity, it would have been 16 pips, which obviously, yeah, it would have been a win, but Friday I wasn't planning on holding the trade any longer than I had to, because like I mentioned, it's the last day of the week, and I don't think anything spectacular was going to happen. Now just to quickly break down on I'll take on the markings, go into the daily chart, and if I go into the daily chart, you can see we broke the highs yesterday. Today we didn't break anything, nor the highs nor the lows. So next week I'm thinking the market's going to try and possibly take out this or this, and I'm thinking it might actually try and go for this, but again I'm not going to predict right now, because like I said, the market has broke down here, but because this fair value gap has not been respected and we literally smashed through that fair value gap, I don't think the trend for GBPJPY has changed. It's still bullish. Now unless it decides to take out these lows and take a run, then obviously my bias will change, but I'll need to wait until next week what we see. And another thing on the weekly candle, which I mentioned, so we've got that big run up here, broken high, fair value gap here, and a fair value gap here. This comes down to test this fair value gap, and I'm thinking this is an order block as well. Again, I think I understand that, I'm not entirely sure, but here's the order block, and the market has made a nice little pump, so I'm thinking this is still wanting to continue higher. In terms of a weekly perspective, we do have some, so you got a breaker structure here, you got a fair value gap here, and you got a fair value gap here. So it is a possibility, but like I mentioned, I'm not entirely sure, because right now we've had this rejection from this fair value gap, but we will see what next week brings. And yeah, that was my trade today. Hopefully I'll be back next week just to record another video if I can get into another trade. Again, just so that you're aware, I had all my drawings up, so you've got the 1 day low, 1 day high, so we pretty much consolidated today in between the 1 day high yesterday and the 1 day low yesterday, so there wasn't a lot of movement, it's just consolidation. And I managed to pull out 30 pips out of there. So yeah, that's what I did today. Again, next week, like I mentioned, I will try and make another video if I can get into another trade. Please like, subscribe and comment, and yeah, I'll speak to you guys next week.